So hello, my name is Gabriel Brown. I'm lead mobile network analyst for Heavy Reading. And as we head towards the big 5G event in Austin this May, I'm here with Rachel Rea, SVP Operations at Boingo Wireless, to talk about all that's hot in wireless. Rachel, great to have you. I guess your job, you lead some pretty big projects, building big networks, important venues. What are some of the things you're working on, and what are you excited about?
So we have a ton of deployments going on across the country. Most of them are related to 5G. But just to start, a quick reminder that Boingo is a leader in designing and building and managing 5G networks. That's our focus this year and next year. And so one of the largest projects that we just completed and are still doing a little work on is Newark, New Terminal A. It's one of the ones I'm probably most proud of right now. So the Port Authority went through a redevelopment effort at Newark's New Terminal A. We were responsible for launching the DAS and Wi-Fi network, as well as a private LTE network. And in case you aren't familiar with Newark, it was a $2.7 billion modernization project. It's going to handle 14 million passengers annually. And I've personally flown in and out of there in the new terminal, and operations are fantastic. And the Wi-Fi and the 5G DAS network work fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, these are such these flagship projects. They have so much kind of impact on people, right, and on the industry. Yes. It's kind of a reference for, I guess, really state of the art for a venue network.
Yes.
And what else? You're doing a lot in airports, as you mentioned there. But what
yes.
a pretty broad range of venues you're in.
We have a very broad range of venues. That's a good way to say it. So yes, we dominate transportation hubs. We are deploying 5G throughout all of our airports across the country, as well as with the MTA here in New York City. We're also very active in sports and entertainment, and we're putting 5G throughout all of those venues. And then we also work with Live Nation and amphitheaters. We have a lot of deployments going on with them, as well as some of our other smaller partners that are commercial real estate and manufacturing. So we're working and healthcare as well. That's another focus area of ours, and we have 5G deployments going on across the country in a wide variety of venues.
Yeah. We've all seen, even I'm in London, UK, we've all seen the photos of when LeBron James scores the record points. Everybody's phoning it and things like that in the, yes. Recording it and everything. So you've got these great, marquee venues, I guess we could call them. What about as you go more into sort of, if I could put it this way, general enterprise, or the next tier down, still, important locations?
Yeah, so if you go into the enterprise space, I mean, there's just a tremendous amount of activity. What's interesting in the enterprise world is that we see a lot of building owners and enterprises starting to fund their own networks, right? So we're working closely with a lot of our enterprise partners and what we call venue funded, and that's really taking is a significant amount of the 5G deployments that we're doing today, and so. Or not significant, but that's a lot of the 5G deployments we're doing today. So we're very, very active in that space. In addition to, the large venue that I mentioned earlier, sports and entertainment, transportation, as well as healthcare, manufacturing.
Yeah. So this venue funding model, in fact, the partnership between the operator, the venue owner, the tenant, the system provider like you, so important to kind of put all these parties together. That must be a whole lot of coordination, I guess.
It is a lot of coordination, but that's what we do, right? So Boingo, while we're very, very focused on 5G deployments today, we also are deploying private LTE and private 5G networks. So we have a very large group of enterprise customers that we work with. And we're also dominating the Wi-Fi business, right? That's kind of how the core of the company started. That's where we were in, was Wi-Fi. And so because we came originally from the Wi-Fi space, that also we have that base of enterprise customers that we work with on the Wi-Fi side, as well as deploying 5G networks in their buildings.
Yeah. And it's great as well to hear the venue funded model is actually kind of picking up and working. I mean, it's really important for everyone who's any of us as a customer of a mobile provider, or even just a user of the building in whatever format, we do need this, and so it's great to have that that contribution. Really, I mean, what question I had for you is around the neutral host model for venues. Again, venues is a broad category, where you're having operators essentially share infrastructure assets in some form. Is that it's a big thing here in the UK, particularly with the larger venues, to be fair, which are getting the coverage. In the US, operators are very competitive.
It is.
Is that working? That neutral host model working, or are they still, really fighting for the best locations?
Yes, I mean the neutral host model still exists here in the U.S., and I do think that model dominates the large venue deployments that we see. Obviously, as Boingo, we're a neutral host or a third-party operator. That's the model that we have adopted, and that is what we do. But what differentiates us from some of our competitors is that we really focused on converged network offering, right? So we're somewhat agnostic. We can deploy, and we're deploying distributed antenna systems as well as Wi-Fi 6 and private 5G. So 5G being probably the bulk of what we do, but the fact that we're a converged network operator and we can structure the technology that's going into the building to mirror whatever the customer's use cases are. And also we will deploy all three in one network, right? So that's what differentiates us, I think, a lot from our competitors.
Yeah. Another question I had for you, because we talk, in quite a bit of the research we're doing around the broad indoor 5G space from the operator side, and actually the venue owner side, is around kind of layering on some, if we can put it this way, digital services onto the wireless infrastructure. Now, obviously at Boingo, you've been doing that for a time in all these venues in Wi-Fi and LTE. What's the sort of how far involved you get in the as it were, the second order applications? So the types of things you need to run a venue, or some of the applications that you might want to put on the network.
Yeah, so we're definitely involved in that space. I mean, it depends on what our venue partner, their wants and are for the venue. A good example of where we worked very closely with the venue to help them deploy applications is Petco Park. At Petco Park, we deployed a private 5G network in Gallagher Square. They had a problem, and their problem was that they needed to bring or have a way to sell concessions to their customers out in Gallagher Square, and they just didn't have a way to do that. And so once we put on in the private 5G network, within less than a month, they had phones and tablets that they could use to run POS, right? Those are their POS devices. And then they could handle all those mobile transactions that they needed to needed to support the demands of their customers. So they generated a tremendous amount of sales from concessions and merchandising by using a private 5G network and enabling those mobile payments. So that's a good example of how we partnered with one of our customers in order to bring those services out to the user. Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff. And then I guess we talked already. You're going to be joining the big 5G event in Austin this May. Great to have you. Thanks for joining the program.
Thank you for inviting me.
We're running a whole track on indoor and venue systems, actually. So everyone come and watch. What are some of the things you're kind of interested to talk about and network about and hear about from your peers?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm very interested in learning, and I've been watching to see what panels and presentations are going to be there this year. I want to see more on 5G indoor use cases, different devices that coming to market, how private 5G is making a bigger splash, and that's becoming, those networks are being deployed more frequently across the country. I also am very interested to see what the OEMs are going to bring to the table and what the different carriers are bringing to the table and what they want to talk about. So that's a big interest. And then also, I mean, it's in Austin, right? And we work in Austin, so it's going to be great to also see one of our customers, Austin FC, Austin Football Club, Austin FC. I plan on visiting them and seeing the 5G network that we built there. So looking forward to all the panels, all the presentations, all the speakers, as well as the women in telecoms. I don't want to forget about them. I've been a participant in Women in Telecom for many, many years. And so very interested to see what conversations we'll be having on the first day.
Yeah, good stuff. Women in Telecoms, Light Reading's been running that, I know, for a long time. So again, it's I think that's on the first day of the show or the pre-day or something like that. But
it is, and it's interesting. When I first went to it, I think there were like 15 or 20 people that attended the conference, and last year I was on one of the panels, and I think we had about 75, 80 people in the room. So it's really great to see how that has grown.
Yeah, good stuff. Last one for you. Just want to check something. Austin FC. If I'm correct, that's a football club in the sense of a soccer club, right?
Soccer, yeah.
Got you.
That's a soccer stadium in Austin.
That's my game, so that's
good. Yes, not football, not American football, soccer.
Got you. Rachel Rhea with Boingo, thanks very much.
Thank you so much.